Hello, gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I want to start today by sharing a brief story. Just last week, a gentleman in his early 70s sat in my office. He was a man who had commanded boardrooms, built a successful business from the ground up, raised a wonderful family, and traveled the world. In every sense of the word, he was a pillar of strength and confidence. But as he sat across from me, he looked down at his hands and said something I've heard from so many men just like him. He said, "Doc, in every other part of my life I feel in control. I've faced challenges and I've overcome them. But in the bedroom, I feel like I'm failing, and I haven't told a soul, not even my wife of 45 years. Does that feeling sound at all familiar to any of you listening today? That sense of a private struggle, a silent battle that no one else sees. If it does, I want you to know you are in the right place, and I'm so glad you're here. This conversation is for you. For those of you who might be new here, my name is Dr. Rose Khavari. I'm a urologist and a professor in men's health at the University of Texas. For my entire career, I've dedicated myself to understanding and improving the quality of life for people as they age, particularly in the areas that often go unspoken. Today we're going to talk about one of the most common yet most silently endured of those topics, erectile dysfunction, or ED specifically for men over the age of 65. Now, my goal isn't to give you a dry medical lecture filled with complicated terms. My goal is to have a frank, hopeful, and helpful conversation, man to man, or rather doctor to friend. We're going to pull back the curtain on this topic, understand why it happens, and most importantly, explore what you can do about it. Because your vitality, your confidence, and your connection with your partner matter at every age. So let's start with that word, silence. Why is it that a health issue affecting a vast number of men, some studies suggest more than half of men over 60 experience it, to some degree is still treated like a secret? Well, I believe it comes down to a few things. Many of you belong to a generation that was taught to be stoic, to be providers, to be the rock for your family. You didn't complain, you solved problems quietly, and you carried your burdens without a fuss. Admitting a vulnerability, especially one so personal, can feel like a betrayal of that identity. It can feel like you're letting someone down or that you're no longer the man you used to be. Let me be perfectly clear. This is not a failure of character. It is a matter of physiology. The other layer to this silence is a profound misunderstanding of what ED actually is. For decades, it was wrongly framed as a purely psychological issue, or worse, a reflection of a man's desire for his partner. This created a deep sense of shame and anxiety. Men worry, if I admit this, will my wife think I don't find her attractive anymore, or does this mean our love life is over? This silence is the real enemy. It isolates you. It allows myths to grow in the dark. But when we bring it into the light, we find that not only is it incredibly common, but it's also a manageable health condition, with clear, understandable causes. So to break that silence, let's first understand what's actually going on from a medical standpoint. It's far less mysterious than you might think. I want you to imagine that a healthy erection is not a single event, but a performance by a perfectly coordinated team. For this performance to be successful, 3 key players must work in perfect harmony. You have the messenger, your nervous system. It all starts with a signal from your brain. When you are aroused, your brain sends a highly specific electrical message down your spinal cord to a bundle of nerves in your pelvis. Think of it like sending a priority email with the subject line, "It's time." These nerves are like delicate electrical wires. If they are damaged, the message can get garbled, weakened, or never arrive at all. This can happen over time with conditions like uncontrolled diabetes, or as a result of certain surgeries in the pelvic area, such as surgery for prostate cancer. And this is the star of the show. You have the plumbing your blood vessels. When those nerves deliver their message, they speak to the arteries in the penis. The message tells the smooth muscles inside these arteries to relax completely. When they relax, they open up wide, allowing a rush of blood to flow in, filling the chambers and creating the erection. To make them relax, the body releases a special chemical messenger called nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as the master key that unlocks the arteries. Many things we do in our lifestyle, which we'll talk about later, can either help or hinder our body's ability to produce this crucial molecule. You have the manager your hormones, particularly testosterone. Now, testosterone's role is often misunderstood. It isn't typically the direct trigger for the physical event. A better way to think of testosterone is as the team manager or the conductor of the orchestra. It's responsible for your libido or your desire for intimacy. It keeps the whole system primed and interested in the performance. For most men over the age of 60, when we look at which part of this team is having trouble, the evidence overwhelmingly points to one area: the plumbing, the vascular system. This is why I tell every single man who comes to my office with this concern the same thing. Think of ED as a check engine light for your heart. Imagine you're driving your car, and the oil light flicks on. You wouldn't just put a piece of black tape over the light and hope the problem goes away, would you? Of course not. You'd pull over and check the oil. You'd see it as a warning sign that your engine needs attention to prevent a much bigger, more catastrophic failure down the road. ED is that light on your dashboard. The arteries in the penis are some of the smallest in the entire body, much smaller than the coronary arteries that supply your heart. Because they're so small, they are often the first to show signs of trouble when there's a systemic problem. They are the canary in the coal mine for your vascular health. What kind of trouble am I talking about? The very same conditions that lead to heart attacks and strokes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes. So when we talk about addressing ED, we are doing something far more profound than just improving your sex life. We are talking about taking your body's earliest warning signals seriously. We are talking about proactive preventive care for your heart, your brain, and your entire body. We are talking about your overall health and longevity. Because this topic has been shrouded in silence for so long, a lot of myths have taken root. Let's bust a few of the most common ones. Myth 101. It's all in your head. The truth. While stress and anxiety can certainly make things worse for most men over 60, there is a real physical reason for ED. It's almost always linked back to that blood flow we just talked about. Myth number 2. It means you're no longer attracted to your partner. The truth. This is one of the most damaging myths. Desire and mechanical function are two different things. It's a plumbing issue, not a passion issue. Myth number 3. The only option is taking a pill. The truth, medications can be very effective tools, but they are not a cure. The most powerful approach starts with your lifestyle. The pills can help you play the game, but lifestyle changes help you get back in the game for the long term. Myth number 4. It's just a normal part of getting old and I have to accept it. The truth. This is the single biggest myth I want to shatter today. While your body certainly changes with age, you do not have to accept dysfunction as your destiny. You can absolutely have a vibrant, healthy, and intimate life at 65, 75, and beyond. It simply requires a different, smarter approach to your health. So what does that smarter approach look like? It's not about radical, difficult changes. It's about small, consistent habits that pay huge dividends for your entire body. Let's talk about 4 foundational pillars you can start building today. Pillar number 1, start walking, seriously. You don't need to run a marathon or become a bodybuilder. The single most evidence-based recommendation I can give you is to walk for 30 to 40 minutes most days of the week. Why is something so simple so powerful? It's because of that magic molecule we talked about, nitric oxide. When you walk briskly, your heart pumps more blood. This increased flow rushing against the inner lining of your blood vessels stimulates it to produce more nitric oxide. It truly is medicine in motion. Pillar number 2, eat for your arteries. Instead of thinking about a restrictive diet, let's think about upgrading your plate. The goal is simple: feed your arteries what they need to stay flexible and clear. Here are a few simple upgrades. Add leafy greens, spinach, kale, arugula. These are packed with natural nitrates, which your body converts directly into that all-important nitric oxide. Grab a handful of nuts, specifically walnuts and almonds. They are rich in healthy fats and an amino acid called L-arginine, another crucial building block for producing nitric oxide. Embrace color. I'm talking about berries, oranges, and bell peppers. These are full of powerful antioxidants called flavonoids. Think of these as the rust-proofers for your arteries. Choose fatty fish, like salmon or mackerel, once or twice a week. They are full of omega-3 fatty acids, which are famous for reducing inflammation and improving blood flow. What's good for your heart is fantastic for your erections. Pillar number 3. Prioritize your sleep. We often treat sleep as a luxury, but for your body, it is a non-negotiable maintenance shift. When you consistently get less than 7 hours of sleep, your body goes into a low-grade state of stress. It starts pumping out more of the stress hormone cortisol. Chronically high cortisol is the enemy of healthy sexual function. It constricts blood vessels and directly interferes with your body's ability to produce and use testosterone. Protecting your sleep is one of the most important things you can do. Pillar number 4, open the conversation. I have saved the most courageous and perhaps the most important pillar for last. The physical steps are vital, but they can be undermined by the stress of silence. I know this is the hardest step, but it is the one that leads to true healing. First, talk to your doctor. You can use simple, direct language. For example, Doc, I'd like to talk about my sexual health. I've noticed some changes and I want to be proactive. This frames it as a legitimate health query, removing the feeling of shame. We are here to help you. Then, when you are ready, talk to your partner. The goal here is not to report a problem, but to invite them to be on your team. You could try saying something gentle like, "Honey, there's something that's been on my mind. Lately, my body hasn't been cooperating the way I'd like. I need you to know with all my heart that it has nothing to do with you or how much I love and desire you. It feels like a health thing, and I was hoping we could face it together." True intimacy is not about perfect performance. It's built on trust, communication, and the willingness to be vulnerable with the person you love. So, gentlemen, let's bring it all together. First, know that if you are struggling with ED, you are not alone. It is a common health issue, not a personal failure. Second, understand that it is primarily a signpost for your cardiovascular health. Your body is giving you an early warning, listen to it. Third, the most powerful first steps don't come from a bottle. They come from your daily habits, walking, eating for your heart, prioritizing sleep, and breaking the silence. And finally, and most importantly, know that there is hope. Your life after 65 is not an epilogue. It's a rich, meaningful chapter, and you have the power to make it a healthy and vital one. It starts with these small, powerful choices that you can begin making today. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this conversation was helpful, please consider subscribing for more discussions on living your best, healthiest life after 60. Until next time, please take good care of yourselves and be kind to yourselves. You've earned it.